reconcile needing to write with also needing to be present in my family's life. But, to him, I think for years, this goes back, I talked to, friends and girlfriends going back 40 years. And Joyce Hyser, who was his girlfriend from around the from darkness through the river and into the Nebraska era, said that the thing about Bruce at that point, and it was part of his dysfunction as much as part of his brilliance, was that when he needed to be creative, she needed to be gone. And there was a hotel in Arizona where he would go and just stay there by himself with his guitar and write songs. Because all his needs were attended by people to whom he owed no responsibility. He loved that hotel lifestyle. The sort of, you're there one minute, you're gone the next. They clean your room.
You don't make the bed.
Yeah, you don't make the bed. You swim in the pool, you hang out. When, you come home. It's like these kinds of no strings relationships. So Joyce said, when he needed me, I had to be there. When he didn't want me around, I had to be gone. And that was the rules of the relationship. And he told her, and he's told others, he said, look, it's like, think of my life like a totem pole. You'll be right up there, but music is always going to be on the top. And the demands of the music, the demands of the composition, of my creativity are such that you'll never be able to compete with that. And so I wonder why that first marriage didn't quite work out.
How does Patty deal with that? How does Patty deal with that?
That's an excellent question, and that was difficult for me to crack because Patty ultimately, though we sort of had interviews scheduled at times, she was like, ultimately, the last thing I heard from her was come on by the house. We'll put some time together, we'll meet, we'll talk, we'll have lunch, it'll be terrific. And I was like, fabulous, here I am. And then a close friend of theirs died that same week, at which point, their whole world was upside down. This was in February of this year. And clearly, they were all invested in helping this guy's family. And that was the end of that. And then even as the weeks and months went by, the interesting thing was Bruce was constantly saying, you want to talk to Patty? Do you got that set up? I know. And I'd say, well, I'm trying, but I can't get it. And then he was like, I'll look into that. Then nothing would happen, and it was kind of like, I got the sense that maybe they were on two different pages on that. So eventually I just thought, well, what can I do? I can't kidnap her. I got to let that one go, and so that's how it ended up. But one of the interesting things that we were driving in the car once coming back from what had been a long day of interviews and stuff that we were doing. And so I was talking in the car, and I said, because this creativity thing had been such a, this thing that had dominated his life to his, discomfort, to the level where he knew that things were wrong, and he needed to fix something about this. And I said, so how do you, and then the thing was, when the muse was there and functioning for him, he could not focus on anything else because he was so terrified that it wasn't going to come back. He was going to lose things. He wasn't there. And so I asked him, how does it work today? And he said, look. And he said this like it was a bit of philosophy that he had memorized and internalized, like a poem. He said, when you come back to the table, it's going to be waiting for you. It's always going to be there. Get up, do what you need to do, come back, and there'll be something for you to eat. And I thought, he said it with a sense of focus and determination that made me feel like he was saying it and was living by that and was still struggling to believe it.